Come on in, guys. It's the Plz Survive podcast. I'm Jessica. I'm the super fan.
I'm Rob, and I'm the casual fan.
I'm Molly, and I'm the newbie. I just watched my 4th episode of Survivor ever.
Wow, and does it feel like a dagger to your heart, Molly?
Maybe like a fishing spear to my fish body.
There was a lot of sharp objects going into things, metaphorically and physically, in this episode. But I will say, along with my thoughts so far, and Jess, I need to know your thoughts on this too. I've pointed out the editing that I do not like this season, and hearing Christian say a knife through the heart or stabbed in the heart or my heart hurts so many times was like, did we not get it the first time? What are we doing here?
Well, we also got the visual of him going like that.
Yes.
And if you're listening on audio, it was him stabbing himself motion.
But you can also watch this on YouTube.
Yeah. But just in case you're not, he was in a confessional and he like mimed stabbing himself in the heart. So yeah.
Wait, should we do some transparency and housekeeping?
Ooh, I love this idea.
Because you mentioned that you can listen to this on audio or you can watch it on video. And, we just decided to do this, like independent of anything else that we do, and see what size of an organic audience we can build, talking about a really saturated podcast sort of segment, and then also a show that people really love and voraciously consume content about. So this has been a little bit of a let's see what happens kind of thing. And we talked about it beforehand. And I think we want to share our numbers with you of what we've gotten.
Yeah, I would say by the time a new episode comes out, we've had roughly 45 downloads. Now, to the people who do not understand, yes, that is low, but it means that we're getting about, well, you could say 10 new listeners a week, but this is also, you go back, the first episode is going to have more downloads because people might be going back, while it's just had more time to collect. Now, what I will say is that that's actually pretty decent considering the only promotion we've really ran for this show is Jessica's insatiable social media tactics.
That social game.
Yes.
She's got that social game. She's Cirie. I'm just saying, we've like put out some TikToks and stuff, and Jess is just pumping out memes. She did an entire thread of how each player from the game would their White Lotus reactions to this week's episode. I keep track of the YouTube over here. Epic Party, our first episode, got 2 views, 7 thumbs up. And the thumbs up really means something to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Therapy Carousel, 104 views, 2 thumbs up. Last week's episode, and I think this is where we're running into a problem with the experiment we did. We only got 21 views. And I think it's because I decided also we're going to do a couple styles of thumbnails to see what does well. So some look like, about what I can do, very amateurish sort of things in Canva. But then I've also used, and this is for experimental purposes only, full transparency, I've also used AI. And you've probably noticed that because in the newest one, I wanted a more girly version of the one that they gave us for Epic Party. And for some reason, they decided to not just, do the flowers more pink and make it more emotional, define our faces a bit more, but it wrote for female fans. And I had a version, episode 3 recap and reaction for female fans. If anyone, I don't know why,
And of course, they probably noted that the A was left out of recap.
Yeah, they probably noticed that too, Rob. Yeah, exactly. So that did not do so well. I will try to change it up. I'll make a different style and see if it does better. But that is what my plan has been so far. So this week, you'll never know what kind of thumbnail we have this week. But
that's what keeps them coming, the surprises.
Yes, but we wanted to be transparent with you. Also, Rob, do we have any reviews?
I do believe we have one.
And this is a great time, you guys. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. And if you're listening on audio, and I don't know, like, make sure you're subscribed, send it to your group chat, but hit that fucking 5-star review and leave a couple words if you don't mind. That
Now,
helps.
what I will say is the one review I've seen so far does have a note, but it is 5 stars.
Is it calling me
Okay.
arrogant?
No, it is nothing directly. Now, I'm going to put this out there. And Molly, you are editing the hell out of these episodes, but I think it might be an edit note. We're going to read this, okay?
Okay.
So prepare thyselves. Great start and my own advice. That's parenthetical. It's a great idea to have people with different survivor experience levels so you get plenty of varied opinions. Only advice is to edit out some of the longer pauses just to speed up the pace of the show, because there are times it kind of drags. But really looking forward to future episodes. Now, what I'll say is, you could take that as an edit note, but you could also take it as this is from March 9th. They might have gotten this after like our second episode. And so
I'm
I
not
think
big on the remove pauses feature. I mean, I do a little bit, but because we use Riverside to edit, and so they make it really easy. I didn't even realize we might have had so many pauses, but I think one thing we're all very conscious of as a group of yappers is that we want to give room to other people, and it can fly a little quickly. So that is a good note. I'll look into it and see how much time I can shave off ultimately. But I appreciate that so much. That's a great comment.
But I will say 5 out of 5. We have 5 ratings and they all give us 5 stars. So you
That's
don't have
great.
to write a review to leave a rating. So, and as a lot of people don't know, ratings and reviews do not affect the Apple algorithm anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. So this is just really good if you go over there and you give us 5 stars, because then other people stumbling onto the show might go like, oh, people like actually like this, and it's not
Yes.
gaming the system.
Yes, absolutely. It's a social signal.
I have something to contribute to this conversation.
Excellent.
And it is that in the world of Survivor, there's like less than 20 people who have played over 100 days of Survivor total. And 2 of those people have liked our content
Yeah.
and responded to me. And one of them is Cirie.
Yes.
Yes.
No, wait, Jess, do you think, should the time come, do you think we could get a little interview with Cirie?
I don't think we can, but we can try.
Just
We could get,
being optimistic, dreaming big.
and here's the thing, dreaming big like Marty Supreme, we could also get a Cirie cameo at some point.
Yes.
Imagine my surprise waking up this morning and seeing that alert and holding it in all day long so that I could present it to you in this fashion.
No, actually, Jess, yes, you're right. That is huge for you. You're right. That's exactly it. You sat with that all day. Thank you for. Damn.
That's why the group chat's been so quiet. She was afraid she was gonna jump in with this before.
I thought I was going to Emily Flippin' it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's so exciting. I love that. And I love this show, and I'm very excited to keep talking about it with you. Did I love this episode? Well, I guess we'll have to figure that out as we discuss it.
Where do we want to begin?
I mean, should we just cut to the talent show?
Gotta cut to
Yes.
the show.
What did you guys think of these various talents?
Well, my biggest question was, do women not have talent?
Well, we are on the internet, and Molly and I did just watch the Manosphere documentary, so I guess the answer is no.
Well, I mean, the Manosphere people would argue that women have a talent for suckering men,
That's true.
or being
Yes.
a 304, for hitting the wall. That they have talents for all of that. But no, you're right. Where were the women during this talent show? I wondered how these people, Devins and Rizzo, how they got sort of designated to perform. I mean, looking at the group, I think that they would want to be the ones who would perform.
Yeah, but I mean, it is kind of like on brand for Camilla to just sit there and judge. So, like, that definitely was her speed because she's great at commentary and judging other people. So, I mean, in a sense, that is her talent.
And it's very like a mom like of all three of them, or patient babysitter, older sibling, to be like, all right, I'll watch the show you put on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do your performance.
It also reminds you how bored they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
I the tribal like talent show used to happen a lot more in the early era of Survivor because they had like days without challenges, like days and days without challenges, so they had to entertain themselves. So while it does feel like this is like new era coded to be doing a talent show, it actually is old.
Does Charlie not have a talent?
I'm gonna bet that he did something Taylor Swift related and they edited it out.
Yeah, that's
Something he
probably
couldn't
it.
sing or something. Yeah.
Yet we can get Mickey Mouse's voice from
I
Rizzo.
am done with the Mickey Mouse impressions from everyone. I have
Yeah.
to say, whenever someone does a Mickey Mouse, I feel so uncomfortable. And I think it's fine for a cartoon mouse. I don't want to see a man do it.
Would you say it gave you an ick of sorts?
Big time.
I have a thing that I want to discuss later on in the episode about ick. So remind me if I put it in the text when we get there. But I do think it's fun that we get a little bit of these moments. I think we can all agree that Rick Devens' juggling was the best talent, though. It seemed to be the only skill.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought the stuntman was better. Like, I thought the stuntman performance was better, particularly because that he was not good at juggling. As a person who can juggle, I was
Mhm.
offended on behalf of the juggling community.
I just don't like perpetuating violence as a talent. I think that this is how cool I am, right? Just want everyone to know that, like, I think that's not
Rob's
cool.
nonviolent,
I'm
positive.
nonviolent. Yeah. No, I totally get it. It was fun because it also goes to show you that Jonathan probably was almost in AEW at a certain point.
Really?
I would assume. I just think.
Yeah.
Now, I should say, Molly and Jess back me up here, in one of my favorite New Era seasons, which was David versus Goliath, Christian Mike White's first season.
Not a new era season.
That's not a New Era season.
No, because that's 37. So it's before 40.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a AEW wrestler on David versus Goliath.
No way.
Yeah. Do you remember who it was, Jess?
I don't know what AEW is.
It's a wrestling. The guy who was a pro wrestler on Survivor, David versus Goliath.
It's like this. I don't even know if it's indies anymore, but it's like sort of a more liberal answer to WWE. It's Eric watches it, and I just spending time with someone. This is what's gonna happen with me in Survivor. I just got into it. Like, I don't like go out of my way to like really watch it, but I have my guys I like. It's exactly like my relationship with Survivor so far. And my guys I like to follow them, learn about. Yeah, I don't know.
John Morrison. I think he's like Hollywood. Johnny TV, Johnny Superstar, Johnny Spade.
It's
I
good.
saw him at the Pasadena Comic Con the other day. Still got it.
Hell yeah. You went
Anyway.
to another con without inviting me.
No, that was the same one I didn't invite you to.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, that's great. Where to next, Jess?
I feel like I need to address something that really, really bothered me, which was Genevieve touching Coach's hair. That was my ick for the episode, watching her braid his hair.
Okay, so we've each got an ick for the ep.
So I am getting, I think because this ep is slow, I will be like kind of doing a little bit of side stuff, but I did get some backlash for posting what I thought was like a very fair thing on my TikTok, a clip of us where I'm saying that the way that Coach sort of really deflated Chrissy's spirit last week, someone in the comments wrote, well, haters gonna hate. And so I'm realizing that Coach has an army out there that is like, they're just like, if you don't get it. And so that's very interesting to me. I mean, I'm not surprised. I think like everyone there's so many people who have their favorites with this show, but I'm not surprised that I'm supposed to like get
Yeah, you don't get talking
coach.
down to women while you've got your little ponytail going.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right, Jess. I mean, it's a strange choice to
And,
braid
like,
man's hair.
you know it's not clean hair because you're on the island. So, like, it's not
How
clean.
about, is Genevieve flirting with Coach?
Yeah, I
Is
think
this,
she is.
I think
I
she's,
think Genevieve is overcorrecting, whereas on her first season, she was like an AI version of a Survivor player. Like,
she left the A out of everything.
well, no, she was like an AI like person playing Survivor.
I know, I know.
And now she's back and she's learned more human traits. Complimentary.
Yes.
And she's now like overperforming as a human. Like Aubrey could read through her, checking on her in the woods, and then
Give me a break.
No, but
She
listen,
read through her
No,
going,
but like
"Hey, what are you doing?"
like there's a lot of things that she's doing that like look like an evolution
I
of a
totally-
person
yes,
who's
I
like
totally
learning
get
to
you.
be more human. And again, complimentary. I love Genevieve.
Jess and I were talking about the AI of it all with Genevieve before you got on here because I've been watching. I'm uncomfortable being such a newbie, so I've been watching like compilation clips of some of the players from this season to see like what they're all about, like what the fandom is hooked in on. And with Genevieve, I told Jess, I'm like, one, I totally get why that's your crush, Jess. I hope you don't mind if I say that on mic, but put it out there. Also, Genevieve came across so great to me in her compilation, whereas like someone like Flippin, who I am partial to a little bit on this season, I wasn't as hooked into her arc. But with Genevieve, I was like saying to Jess, I'm like, she's a really like dialed in person. And I feel like if you have a huge problem with Genevieve, it is a little bit it just has to be a little bit misogynistic. Based off of that compilation clip, Rob, I will tell you, if I was Aubrey, I would have killed her right in that jungle.
Yes.
That's where I'm at with it. Like, I do think that like Genevieve seems to be a good human being and is trying to like learn from the errors of the previous season, like you said, Jess. But yeah, this would have gone send help mode if I were Aubrey.
Yeah, it
in
would be
this.
rock to the back of a skull because it's just, even if, yes, Aubrey was out looking for idols, sure. But even if she wasn't, I can't imagine with all of this shit going on, they're all stuck together like sardines. I would need a lot of time to myself. I would
And-
need a lot of only child time out
But
in those
also
neighborhoods.
the fact that Aubrey knows Genevieve's out to get her, and Genevieve hasn't really done herself any favors with the Aubrey conversation. And Aubrey hasn't necessarily either between these two. I'm not siding with Aubrey necessarily. But seeing that Genevieve is the one yelling at her is like, is this an overcorrection too? Is this a like, you're
Well, that's
doing
what I
a
mean.
lot here?
Yeah, like she's a child lost at the mall.
Would it surprise you to hear that before the tribe swap, Angelina told Aubrey that she was her number one on the tribe, and Aubrey did not say anything back?
Wow.
So that's like another awkward social interaction. I like in the past I have not loved Aubrey. She's growing on me a little bit just because of how cranky she is. It's almost like she's like transcended being like sadness from, the Inside Out character. And now she's just like full on like cranky. And it broke through to another dimension that I'm like now enjoying.
I don't
Yeah.
think Aubrey really likes being on Survivor. I feel like she's like, all right, well, I guess I'll go do this again. Like, cause she knows she's good at it and like she can get through it. But I don't sense from her the way that with other people, I feel like they need to go to the island to heal or something like that. I don't get that from Aubrey. She's, it seems like this is a massive inconvenience for her being on this show. And I like that.
Well, we also find out Aubrey doesn't find the idol, but Genevieve does, which is another nail in Billie Eilish's coffin, as we've learned. Hi, it's me, Billie Eilish. Also, there's someone on Threads that I think has a bot account response that is just responding to everyone who that gets into their ecosystem with just, "Hi, it's me, Billie Eilish." And I kind of like this. I looked in their bio and they seem to be a bartender at Pump or have been at one point in time. I was like, "Oh, maybe this is why they're in my ecosystem."
Maybe we need to get them on the pod, the
But
Billie
then I
Eilish
started
pod.
looking at all of their responses and it was all to Survivor comments and it was all, "Hi, it's me, Billie Eilish."
I wonder if they have some bad blood with Billie Eilish or perhaps her brother Phineas or something, and that's
Probably.
really driving this. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, again, she's never gonna live it down. While she's the bigger musical name in this episode, she's not the only musician that shows up.
What a segue. Zac Brown, who I'm like Camilla in this situation. Who is this? Who is this guy? Who is
I
this
know,
man?
I think so. I think Zac Brown is clean. Like, I think that he's more of like I think he's progressive a little bit.
I think you might be right. He has been. I posted a comment and said, I always, when I'm doing Survivor stuff, I like to go, please listen to Plz Survive at the bottom, just so it always gets there. And I said, this was the second time Zac Brown has been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because if you check his Wikipedia page, he was part of a huge drug bust where he was caught with like pills and stuff in his pockets, and he got let off the hook because the cops liked his music.
Take
And
that over like a
Sure.
stray N-word
Absolutely.
or anything about even my boy
Sure.
Jelly Roll, who's not my boy, but I
Jelly
love
Roll, get the
talking
hell.
about him. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just find it really funny that he's on this because he's a fan. So he gets a 20-minute vanity piece.
Mhm. Yeah.
I wouldn't just call it a vanity piece. I would call it also a commercial because
Yeah.
there were a number of Zac Brown branded products that we saw, including the speaker, the wine,
The
and
spear gun?
Was that his own?
I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it.
It certainly felt like it was.
I've never heard anyone talk about how much they love killing fish with a spear than this man. I would think that is when you've got more money than you know what to do with, you're investing in the sports that you like.
But Jess, speaking of sports, I have to ask how many of his 14 sold out Fenway Park shows you attended.
I don't think you have to ask me that because I think you know that it would be 0.
Well, I don't know. I know you like a little bit of country.
Yes, but I'm like a classics. I like Tim McGraw and Garth Brooks. I don't really mess with like new country.
What are your thoughts on Chris Gaines?
We didn't really talk about that. That's like, Fight Club. No, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, this was weird. This feels like, and we've given Jeff a hard time on this show, but this feels like this was presented to Jeff in some way, and Jeff was like, oh, this is such a good idea. We'll like make a whole thing about this. And to see that it's like the lowest rated episode of Survivor of all time.
Yeah.
Just, it goes back to my advice I gave to Jeff a couple episodes ago, right? Like, you are not listening. You are not making it more fun by doing this.
I wish that they would have teed up the excitement of the tribal council later on, earlier in the episode, to just let us know that we have that to look forward to. Because it's such a dragon first half. And then by the time we get to the Zac Brown concert, which I gotta ask, like, it was tough by the time we got there. But I gotta ask, guys, is this the first time a musical artist has shown up on Survivor and done like an acoustic set?
So basically, yes. However, on Survivor Nicaragua, one of the finalists was Chase Rice, who is a famous country singer now. And at the live finale, they let him play the guitar on stage during the finale.
That's nice.
And that's like the finale, like the post.
Yeah, like post
winner, right? Like the reunion.
He lost.
Yeah.
He lost at the finale.
We've talked a lot about icks this episode, and I would like to now throw out what I feel is an ick to this. And first of all, I want to say I'm all for showing emotion, especially as a
Yep.
big buff man, like I am, of course, everyone knows this. But I also think there's something to be said where men use media as an excuse to let out emotions, whether that be tears or anger or something. And this described an unhealthy relationship with country music for these men. That a Zac Brown song is bringing them to tears. I know that this won't be everyone's cup of tea, what I'm about to say here, but I feel like Coach, Joe are allowing themselves to cry because it's beautiful music that they respect.
They're full. They've probably had a couple drinks in them, so that is also moving things along.
But I don't think they would do this otherwise. This is all besides my main point here, in that it's always been, at least for like our generation, the joke of like the acoustic guitar guy, right?
Yeah.
There's a time and place for everything, I know. But I have to imagine we've gone full pendulum swing that I do not understand why, if we're talking heteronormative here, with Zac Brown being straight and married to Kendra, whatever her name is, and the women here who I don't know. What all I'm saying is, I feel like in a standard straight relationship situation, a man pulling out an acoustic guitar and singing must be an ick. I don't think the confidence of being able to play a song for people outranks the ickiness of like, I have to sit here and listen to it. Am I wrong here?
No, I mean, I think that, like, we're also under pressure cooker circumstances here, even though that they are maybe sort of lulled into like a sense of safety for a moment in front of, they're sitting at like a fire pit with like bellies full of fish. They've been fucking starving. I've been noticing that like people have been saying more about how the hunger is really getting to them.
Yeah.
Shout out to the fans for no rice. I heard that like on earlier seasons that these people used to just pig out on rice. And so the fact that they're all really not doing well is very interesting to me. But like, and I think like also the booze probably pushed things along, like the relief of maybe I'm in this new tribe and we won this challenge. Sure. Do I think it's embarrassing? Yes. I will say that my ick isn't, I've been having a conversation with myself that's so intense since I first watched this last night. I was doing laundry thinking about it. Just all those moments where you're kind of still and quiet. I was so interested in how D was like, country music saved my life. I did not expect that coming from D, but I feel like country music was Dee born here? I don't know if she's like first generation or something, but I do feel that country music reaches people that you wouldn't normally expect. I don't know. I don't know why I feel like Dee might not be.
Says hometown Miami.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's even surprising too. I just feel like Miami Florida, sure, country, like Miami, Florida, maybe not. I thought it was surprising, and I feel like it was all exasperated by the fact that they are hungry and down and everything else, like the emotions about it. And ultimately, I think we're going to have to give Dee a pass for being this emotional about missing this. But yeah.
I am totally okay with Dee's reaction. Like, it seemed authentic to me, so I'm fine with it. But here is what I was wondering. Jeff seemed in the moment to like actually be surprised that Dee was responding that way, which brings me to the question of, what if she hadn't? What if there was no reaction to him saying it was Zac Brown? What if nobody understood his like chicken fried whatever that was? Because I don't know what that is. What would they have done? Would they have, I mean, I guess Coach would have handed up or something.
I think they would have reshot.
You guys don't know. I like my chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night.
I think that sounds more familiar now that I've heard you say it with the tune. But
yeah. Listen, I think that they know to fake along.
Sure, that's also true.
I
Yeah.
mean, these people have done the show before. They like Jeff and I think are rooting for Jeff on the whole as well. Like I think that. I think that they I do. I don't think that they want Jeff to look like a fucking loser when he brings out this guy. So they would be like, "Ooh," like no matter what.
Did you happen to catch there was like a quick shot of Cirie being like, "Who is it?"
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
like cracked me up so hard and then like for her to find out that it was just like this guy.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I'll say this is that I watched a couple Mike White interviews over the last couple days, and
Same.
he's been very polite about the Zac Brown band. But like, I don't know, maybe the second or third time I was asked about like how I felt about this, I'd be like, I don't give a shit about Zac Brown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Mike White, a somewhat cosmopolitan gay man, really is like thinking about like, I mean, he has access to genuine famous people like whenever he wants. He could go see any concert. He could be at any show. I don't think he's thinking about like, oh, it's a shame that we lost because we didn't get to see Zac Brown band.
Yeah.
But like also as a pro, I think he is being professional, like an industry pro being professional and sort of playing along as well, because it would probably be a bad look.
So I do think that Chrissy and Colby genuinely were having the time of their lives
yes.
during that whole, like, from the food to the singing to like Chrissy trying to invite him over for a one night stand on the back at camp, like, and like Colby being like, no, like, it just,
I think Colby probably has had his kids in the back seat singing that song with him before.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
Colby
vibe I
has
get
kids,
from
but yeah,
he doesn't.
His
I don't know if
nephews.
I don't know if he does, but like Chrissy and Colby really seemed authentic, and Tiffany seemed authentically DGAFing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I thought she was trying not to laugh, which would have been me because that situation makes me so uncomfortable that I would have had to like excuse myself to the bathroom or something.
Also, I'm sorry. Don't ever ask me to do a call and response song.
Okay, but
This
here's
is
the
just
thing.
a warning to everyone.
I think that I'm more honest than you guys because the thing is you get me in a position like that and I probably would. I would like to say that I wouldn't because I know it's deeply uncool. I mean, I have been wrestling with the fact that like seemingly everyone who's ever been on this show is inherently uncool to an extent. I think that you could even get me to do it, and I'm a snob. I really am.
Well,
Look,
also with if
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was a drinker and I drank Zac Brown branded wine, I would have drank a whole bottle of Zac Brown branded wine and then asked if I could play the guitar. Like that's what would happen there.
And you know why you could? Because you have all the coconuts on the island, so the next morning you have unlimited coconut water.
Exactly. It
to
would
help
be
that
wonderful.
hangover.
Okay, we do need. Speaking of coconuts, Vantu went to tribal council again, but they lost hardcore this challenge. And is it just me, or was it because they didn't have someone moving the net?
Seeing the slimy Mike White climb out of that net, like slimy pink Mike White climb out of that net. I don't think I dislike him as much as many viewers do, or even as much as I think Jess might at this point, but rough.
Well, they also, when they were like at the beginning of the challenge, the other two teams had like two men with women on their shoulders, like per team. And that tribe, like it took two men to lift one woman up.
Yeah.
So that put them way behind anyway. And then their pushing just was terrible. But did you guys notice that they included a shot of Christian underneath the net that paralleled his shot where he was underneath the net talking to Joe?
I did not notice that.
I
at all.
did.
It was a really interesting close up where it was like pretty shameful. I feel bad for him that they included that. But like, I mean, the whole thing was like just a tunnel of shame.
Yeah. It was really bad, and I think this is important then to discuss the post-tribal situation that happens, because I think in a million years I wouldn't have predicted who goes home this episode. I mean, I
It's
thought
wild.
thought it was going to happen before. Like, I didn't think he was making it all the way, but I didn't think it was going to happen like this, and I didn't think that it was going to be this route. And I think it's why we've gotten such a Christian forward edit leading up to this point.
This was a very exciting moment of strategy for me, where like watching it all sort of fall together. I was like, this is the most impressive thing I've seen so far, because it's a group so divided and with such motivations. And I actually don't know if Christian would have gone for Mike if he hadn't mentioned the thing. And Jess, I'm going to be heteronormative for a second and say, you posted something on Twitter about that reaction Christian had to, what's her name? It begins with a G.
Gabby.
Okay. Gabby, like his kind of meltdown about it, and like what happened, what transpired between the two of them. And I said, did this happen before he had a wife or a girlfriend? And you were like, I don't know. And I was like, well, Jess, I think that is entirely relevant, because the thing is
You do know, Jess. You do know.
Feel that he was clearly in love with her. And like, by the way, I see a lot of my younger self and Gabby, just a fuckboy at heart. Like, I really was. I had a little run of being a fuckboy. And I could see that in her as well, where it's sort of like, sorry.
So after you posted your comments, I did a little research because I didn't watch that season in real time. And okay,
you talk first, Jess, and I would just tell you my reaction afterwards.
If you watched it in real time, you can go ahead if you want.
First of all, you probably have more information than me, so I actually want to hear yours, so if it jogs anything extra in my head.
Okay, so Gabby and Christian both made it to the point where they get the loved one visit. It was at day 31. And up till that point, the viewers did not know that Christian had a girlfriend. And they made it seem like Gabby didn't know. And so the edit made it seem like, they were possibly going to be like a showmance. But Gabby knew since day one that Christian had a girlfriend, and it wasn't like that.
Well, you act like that's ever stopped someone from having feelings before. I mean, this happens every day in America, right? We always want to act so shocked when like news comes out that someone.
But I think
I don't want to put any like misogynistic crap on Gabby, who like.
I'm not being misogynistic. I think that like she's playing a game, and when I say that she's a little bit of a fuckboy, I mean, I don't even think it's misogynistic toward me. Like, I just would chew up people and spit them out. I think that might be what happened there. And I watched the two of them sort of react to this scene in a clip from a bar party they had. And
they're besties now.
You don't say.
And she's not the mom of the baby that watched him poop his pants on TV.
Yeah.
That's his girlfriend that visited him on the island.
So I remember watching this in real time, and like, you know what? I was shipping them, and this is the thing.
I would have been.
This is like, they are both so super smart. Like, she's also some nerd as well, if you couldn't tell. And they would be bonding over this. They had a great rapport. They were having so fun. And then it's like, and Christian, your girlfriend's here. And like, a girlfriend comes running out, and it's like, what? Like, oh my God. And looks, and to say nothing about how she looks or anything like this, but does not look like Gabby, right? Like, I'm like, in my head, I am like, they are like, this is a couple. They look like they'd be good together. And then I see this person that is just different hairstyle, different everything, and I'm just like, okay. And now I have to imagine like this girlfriend watching this season with this edit and feeling really uncomfortable about the whole thing. And, not even to say that like seasons later, Molly, like another Survivor winner, like cheated on his wife with D. And so, like, all of this stuff, like, this happens, right? Now, of course, the D thing hadn't happened at this point, but it was so, like, just jarring in the moment, because I'd already made up my mind that these two are going to fall in love, which is the parasocial shit that happens when people watch reality TV. But then in that clip you all are talking about, where they're at the bar and Christian's, like, got his thinker's cap on and watching the thing. And then like you can see in the background Christian's girlfriend,
Wife.
just like, wife, like standing there and just like not even reacting to anything.
Okay, I have a non-romantic take on why this could have hurt, and it's also similar to, um, a parasocial opinion. But I will say, as someone neurodivergent, there have been times that I've wound up in what feels like, because like oftentimes neurodivergent people will find each other in groups, and then
Mhm.
like sort of that's your friend group, right? And I think I think I'm seeing a little bit of that with like maybe Christian, Rick, and Emily. Like, to me, that's where I'm like, okay, that reminds me of my dork squad high school friends, right? And sometimes you'll wind up with someone who you think is a lot like you. And it's like they seem the same, they pass, like whatever. They like know how to like really engage with the neurodivergent person in a way that feels like a meaningful relationship. And then you realize when they eventually fuck you over, like, oh, I was low key a little bit getting played by someone who has like a better social approach to, or not a better, but like a more mainstream approach to life, like out for themselves. You know what I mean? So, like, I could also see that angle as possibly a thing where it's like he really took like her words at face value and really thought
Yeah.
that they were good friends in a way that they wouldn't betray each other. And when that happened, it really broke his heart. And I would say that if I was him and someone was trying to evoke that, like a response out of me that Mike White did, which,
Yep.
I think Mike wanted that to land differently. But for Christian, it was such a specific feeling. And I feel like he could sense himself. And I don't know if Christian's neurodivergent, but I will say, I think he could sense that Mike White is exactly like that. And it was gonna be the same thing cut a different way. I really do. Like, I think that put him on warning about Mike being a dangerous or unsafe person.
Well, Mike even says that he has to manipulate Christian and uses the word manipulate.
Yeah.
Obviously within the bounds of the game. But, like, it felt like almost a little dirty pool, but,
Yeah.
like,
But in one of Mike's exit interviews, wasn't he also like, Christian had already like lied to me a bunch? He was like justifying
He
that
said that
this.
Christian
didn't
didn't tell him he
say,
had a
like,
baby.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, Christian hasn't told anyone that. I think maybe
Right.
Devins?
Yeah. Like, that's really going to help my game. I have a family now. But
Yeah. Mike played it wrong when he and Angelina didn't come up with a plan beforehand to be like, "We're not as close anymore."
yep.
Like, they should have come in anytime I see people come into, like, Squid Game or something, and they have a partner that they know from real life, whether it be a parent or a sibling or whatever,
Figure skater.
they always decide to disclose that. Whereas, like, if I go in there with my best friend, I don't fucking know you.
Right, of
Like,
course.
I don't know you. And then it's like you can work the back channels together, but I think Mike and Angelina being so transparent about how close they were and just how obvious it was that Mike would be willing to drop off once he really comfortably got Angelina in the right place was a mistake, I think.
I think it's interesting that they were looked at, including by myself, as the David versus Goliath trio, but really it was like two separate relationships. It was like Mike and Angelina and Mike and Christian, because Angelina and Christian are not really friends. And like certainly they are not now, like because of this. And I think Mike's hope was that he could bring them together, and it looked like that was happening. But like they're like Mike was the middle guy, but like it was like two sort of distinct groups.
Well, I also don't like that in like all of the exit interviews now, it's like Mike White admits that he and Christian haven't spoken since filming.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of like, well, that's on Mike because it's not like Christian's. I know he's been in like the background of the White Lotus, but it's not like Christian's got Mike's like personal email that he's emailing. You know what I
Well,
mean?
he
Like,
probably does,
He
but I
might.
mean, like, also, Mike, you're at the social advantage in every way as, like, the more famous person to, like,
that's what I'm
reach out.
saying. Like, it really is like Mike's duty to reach out to Christian. He might have his cell, he might have his email, but I
Well,
think.
also, just because Christian got Mike first doesn't mean that Mike wasn't going to try to get Christian.
Absolutely. He didn't tell
and
him he had a kid.
like Mike trying to manipulate Christian in the way that he did sort of like deserved a flip on him anyway.
I was going to ask you, Jess, what point did you realize this flip was going to work? Or did you? Like, because like the Emily part almost threw a pipe bomb into this.
When Christian said he's the most dangerous man on this island or any island.
Okay.
I thought that was very
Also Christian crying about Gabby.
Yeah.
That felt like a deep, deep wound. That like, like when I was like a little kid, if one of my siblings like hit me because I'm the oldest, I would have to hit them so much harder and and make them cry. And it felt like a similar thing. Mike struck him like where it hurt, so Christian struck back so much harder.
Well, and I like that the plan is also like, we can't tell Ozzy.
Mhm.
Basically because Ozzy wants to be on the White Lotus.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing. And I forgot, like...
It's funny they said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Flippin called that in the preseason. She said, I don't want to deal with this. Like someone who thinks that like they're just going to get on the White Lotus or whatever. And I think Mike would put Ozzy on the White Lotus no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
too.
that was sort of
He
my
tracked him down
problem.
at his restaurant. So
I
of course
know.
he will.
It was sort of my problem with Mike being on this season, was that it threw in sort of like an artificial variable that didn't need to be there with all these people.
Yeah.
So like I have like no problem with Mike. I just like don't enjoy watching him on Survivor because of like this sort of like fake social dynamic that it adds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, should we get to an advice section? Is there anything we haven't covered, or should we give some advice?
Well, I really feel like it's extremely necessary to note that this 3-2-1 vote that happened was invented on Survivor by Cirie. Like she is the person who first came up with the 3-2-1 plan.
Can you explain what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when there's 6 people, 3 of you can vote one way, and in order not to have a tie, you have to convince the other 3 people to vote like 2 and 1. So basically Christian knew that Ozzy was definitely going to vote Angelina. So that's where that vote was going, no matter what. And then he knew that Mike was definitely voting for Emily. So he knew where that was. So then he got Stephanie to vote with him and Emily as a 3. And then there was Angelina also was voting for Emily. So he knew that Emily was getting 2 votes because he knew that Mike and Angelina were voting for Emily. And he was supposed to vote that way, but he didn't want Emily out. So the only way that he could flip it was to take Ozzy, who he knew was voting for Angelina. So the only person left to grab was Stephanie, and that's why they became unlikely allies. Basically, on Cirie's season, there were 6 people left, and there was a person who everybody wanted to take to the end because no one liked her. She wasn't going to get any votes, and Cirie wanted to be that person instead, and so she had to get that person out, and so she made 2 different groups of 2 people think that she was voting with them, and then like manipulated them into like a plurality vote, and that's how that happened.
Very cool.
I didn't do like the greatest job explaining it, but
that gets us to go look at that clip and share it on social.
yeah, but essentially, you have to avoid the 3-3 tie, and so like it only happens when you are the person in the 6 and you know where every vote is going.
Yeah, which then of course it leaves Ozzy pissed off at the end of the episode. And he even like tells Christian it's too late to apologize. It's too late. Wow. I forget how much lore is here.
Yeah,
So much lore.
So Ozzy and Stephanie are like, despite their political affiliations, which are very different, they are sort of natural allies because they play the same type of game. They're not great at strategy, but they're very good, like, physically. And they are like, people like them enough on the island. Like, they're nobody's favorite, but like people like don't like hate them. And they always try in challenges. And then being like both old school, they're like a natural fit. So I think the two of them are going to stay together until the wheels fall off this tribe. And then Emily and Christian are going to stay together. So it's going to be whatever Angelina wants to do. She's going to be the swing.
Which is so incredible that we've gotten this. I think this hit so much harder this time too, because as we ended last episode, it was like, well, and Stephanie knows she's going home next. Stephanie's
Yeah.
next. Stephanie's next. Nope, not at all, because she could be used as a number.
Okay, well, I guess I'll kick off advice if that's cool,
Yes.
because I have a two-pronged thing. And they both harken back to what I was saying last episode. Charlie, number one, Charlie. You need to find a better reason to hate Rizzo. Unfortunately, this is one of those things where when you go to tell other people that you have beef with Rizzo, you're going to sound insane. This people are going to, they're maybe going to understand your history and how you got fucked over, but like, I'm sure there's a better reason to not like Rizzo than he's like triggering you. Okay. Secondly, Emily and Christian is a problem for me where they are right now. So this is for, I guess, Christian, even though Christian, I don't know if I like you as much as I did. Okay. You need to get a grip of Emily and tell her, hey, fucking stop. Like I have extended goodwill to you. I want to work with you. That is carried over to another tribe. I cannot trust you and share information with you if you're going to go ahead and blurt it out right away. I don't know if this is a style difference or what, but like you're a liability to me when you do that. And then like, I think you're smart, think you're great, want to work with you, but like, I cannot have any more of these incidents where I tell you something in confidence and you turn around and blurt it out to all the wrong people.
I would like to give my advice next because
Wait, Rob, your mic just unplugged. Or I think maybe your headphones started going through your speakers. Sorry, Rob.
You can hear like an echo.
Now we can't hear you speak.
I'm saying nothing has changed, so I don't know.
Has your
what's going
headphones
on.
died?
No, I mean it's all plugged in. So
If you need a minute, that's fine. Or if you want, I can just adjust your audio and post as to the best of my ability.
no. I don't want it to sound like shit, so I might just have to refresh.
Okay. I'm gonna.
How does it sound? Back to it. This just might make it more annoying for Molly's edit. I hate that. I think I need to get a new mic. This is a good mic. It just has a bad input. And not like the input actually works. It's just micro USB instead of just like USB-C.
Oh, okay.
So like I have to use an adapter because there are no micro cables to anything anymore. Okay, sorry, Molly, that this might cause a little bit of a hang up.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
I would like to give my advice next because it involves two of the people you spoke about, Molly.
Do it.
Charlie. Taylor Swift songs are not a replacement for therapy. Okay? Sing your heart out in your car all you want on your way to your job with a tie. But this rumination has got to end, man. You need to figure it out. It has been years since this happened. And if you are still doing this, I am afraid to know who's getting this behavior outside of the island. Because it's happening. It is. Sorry, man. You got to deal with the rumination. Secondly, Christian, my advice to you is pull back on the performative nature of life. You got to be real, man. The quiet, tip your lip, paired with the stabbed in the heart, paired with the thinker man pose at the bar while he's being filmed watching the thing. Like, individually, those things can happen, but then, last episode, the secret, you told the secret, you did. This is the thing that children do. And I think we can grow up a little bit because this actually is going to make you look bad. It already kind of does. but like you have the right side of things. So when you're already have a good reason to do something that people can get behind you on, don't make them think don't make them second guess your good decision because of your weird performative
Peter.
actions.
You know, Rob, it's funny because I had always said from the very jump, I really hope Christian is the person that I think he is.
Mhm.
And what I meant by that is like, you know, I thought that maybe it was more of his personality, that he genuinely just was someone that communicated like that. But I agree with you. It feels theatrical. And I can't help but wonder if part of this plan involved getting rid of his rival narrator in the tribe, Mike White, because I think he likes to be daddy now that he's
Yep.
a daddy.
That's what I said last week, that he was jockeying for the main narrator role.
Yep. How about you, Jess?
Before I start, I just want to say he's like becoming a caricature.
Yeah.
And then also, it might be like the ultimate irony that he is becoming the human embodiment of an emoji because Mike White wrote on the emoji movie.
And got him.
That I just think that's funny.
Yeah.
But my advice is for the producers. Having all of these Billie Eilish Boomerang idols is too many because Genevieve has now found 2 idols that she had to give away. And next, let me pose
Do we
something
know
that
who
might
she
happen.
gave that one to this time?
Rizzo,
Rizzo.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
who thought he was just an amazing game player, and like
Oh.
that's how he got an idol.
I
This
know.
that was one thing. I'm sorry that he's like, this keeps happening year after year. It's like, dude, you've played one other season.
Yeah. So next week we know that 2 tribes are going to tribal council. So that means that Genevieve has like her hands in the pockets of all 3 tribes because she gave an idol to Rizzo, who's on Sela. She gave an idol to Ozzy, who's on Vatu. And then she is now on a tribe with Aubrey, who has the other idol. And so if Genevieve's tribe loses, they're probably going to try to vote out Aubrey, who's going to play the idol, and it's going to come back on Genevieve, who's probably going to be voted out because of that. And it's interesting because, like, say that Rizzo's tribe lost first. What if he got voted out and didn't use the idol? Is there time for that idol to come back to Genevieve before her tribe goes to tribal council? Probably not. But like all of these, it's too complicated, and I don't think that it was well thought out.
Well, would they vote her out? I don't know. Is Jeff going to make a whole show of it being like, and the idol goes back to Genevieve? Like,
No,
right?
no.
It's going to be sneaky.
So I don't think it can go back to her because it like
Well,
shows up
but,
in your
like, yeah.
bag,
Sure.
right? Like it showed up in Rizzo's bag.
I would think though that if, barring the rules of the game, 2 tribal councils, if Rizzo goes home without using the idol, it will be in Genevieve's bag. They will just make that happen because
And
I don't
so,
think.
but why would the other teams target her for that? Like, or why would the other people target her for that?
No, so her tribe is probably going to try to vote Aubrey out, and Aubrey and Tiffany will vote for Genevieve. And so if Aubrey plays her idol, Aubrey doesn't go home. And so the 4 votes against her are not going to count. And instead, Aubrey and Tiffany's vote is going to end up voting out Genevieve.
Got it. Okay. Got it. All right.
And by the way, I think that's why she's getting such a heavy edit in this first half, because I think that's about to happen.
Yeah, I could see that. But hey, I would love to see it flipped on its ass.
If
Mhm.
only we were there to give these notes in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, my main note would have been the audience is not going to like a half an hour of Zac Brown.
but don't worry, Mr. Beast is coming up soon.
I know.
Thank God.
I can't imagine what he's going to make them do, cut each other limb from limb.
I feel like he's going to flip that coin or whatever and be like, I'm going to double the prize pot like he does in Beast games.
Great. Can't wait.
That's going to be crazy if that's the case.
I want to remind our listeners that you can also get advice from us if you send us an email at contact@plzsurvive.com. Leave us a voicemail there, a little voice note, email it over. You know what? I'm even saying if you leave us a 5-star review somewhere, Apple, Spotify, and want some advice, put it in the review portion. You don't even have to say anything that you want to review about the show. Just put
And
your advice.
if you put in a voice note, you don't have to tell us your name. We're not going to
No.
out you. Like, you can
way.
be very vague. It's fine.
Yeah, we will only say someone's name if they say it's okay to say their name. And that's important because we need this, or I'm going to start manufacturing them. When you start hearing like Zodiac voice on here, it's going to be me pretending to be leaving an advice voicemail. Okay, folks? Well, this is another great one. I always enjoy talking Survivor with you both.
Yes,
Same.
check out us all on social media under @Plz Survive Pod, and links and everything will be available in the description on how to find us, etc. You guys are so great. Thank you for listening, all ish of you. Happy to have you here, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.